You ever have a morning so perfect you just know, deep down it can't possibly last? That was me day one as the so-called retired police chief of Harmony Ridge, standing on my own front porch with the birds chirping and the sun shining, thinking maybe just maybe this was my big chance to finally take it easy. My new house was straight out of a Norman Rockwell painting, blue shutters, old oak tree, a front yard so green it practically glowed, and a driveway long enough to justify buying a golf cart just for hauling out the garbage. Supposed to be a little slice of pre-retirement heaven. And then, out of nowhere, I met the neighbor from hell. You know what I mean. Her name was Beatrice B. Hogglesworth B. for short, but trust me, there was nothing sweet about her. You could hear her wind chimes half a block away like the town's unofficial alarm clock, and her yard looked like the cover of some gardening magazine, only meaner. I'd seen her a couple times, always in something pink and stiff-looking, always wielding those hedge clippers like a weapon. Still, I figured I could handle a little eccentricity. After 2 decades working big city streets, what's a nosy neighbor, right? Saturday morning, I was making the grand pilgrimage with my week's worth of trash, just me, a battered t-shirt and flip-flops, humming something off-key, minding my own business when I heard it. "You there? Stop. What do you think you're doing?" I turned around, and there she was, standing at the edge of her lawn like a sentry, eyes hidden behind sunglasses the size of saucers, pink suit glowing in the sunlight, one hand clutching a phone like it was a direct line to God, the other pointing right at me. I'm not proud I actually tried to smile. "Just taking out the trash, ma'am." "It's Saturday, isn't it?" Gave the bag a little shake for emphasis. She didn't even blink. "Don't get smart with me, young man." "Young man. I'm 45, hair going gray, at the edges, knees creak when I bend." She kept going. "I've been watching you. Skulking around? This is a respectable neighborhood. We have standards." My cop instincts pinged. New town, new neighbors. Maybe she's just protective, right? But the way she said skulking like I was some stray dog, it crawled right under my skin. So I said as politely as I could, "Ma'am, I assure you I live here. Just moved in number 12. Jeff Hayden." She stared at me, then made this little sniffing sound. "Hayden, huh? You don't look like anyone who should be living on Primrose Lane." There it was, not even trying to hide it the way some folks do. My skin, dark enough to have caused this exact scene more times than I care to count, was suddenly the main event. "Well, I do," I said, making an effort to sound neighborly. "That house with the crooked mailbox? That's me. Fixing it soon if the mailbox mafia allows." She puffed up. "Don't you take that tone with me. I saw you eyeing my property. And what's in that bag? You dumping hazardous waste?" I had to laugh because what else do you do? Hazardous coffee grounds and whatever science experiment used to be casserole. That's it. I could see the squirrels for real pausing on my oak like even they wanted to watch. That's when she really lost it. "You're trespassing. You're casing the neighborhood. I know your type. I've heard that phrase before. Never means anything good." "Ma'am," I said, patience wearing thin, "I'm on my own driveway. I own this property. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop with the accusations." She went full meltdown. "I'll show you accusations. I'm calling the police. We'll see what they have to say about your kind loitering here, threatening honest citizens." She jabs at her phone, already dialing, voice rising. I couldn't help it. I leaned against my recycling bin, grinning like I was in on a private joke because, well. "Go ahead," I said. "Call them. I'd love to hear what they have to say." The punchline, of course, is that I am the police. Or the chief, anyway, not that she'd believe it. But you see where this is going, B ranting into her phone about the big menacing man in her neighbor's driveway, clutching her pearls and winding up the drama like a pro. She's painting a picture for dispatch of someone threatening aggressive one of them. It stung. I'll admit it. You get used to the background hum of prejudice in your life, but every now and then someone cranks the volume and you remember, nah, you never really get used to it. Within minutes, sure enough, a squad car cruises up, siren off, but lights on. 2 officers step out, one young and nervous, the other with a mustache so wide I swear it had its own zip code. B scurries over, laying it on thick. "Officers, thank God he assaulted me, threatened me." Mustache gives her a look, then glances at me. Recognition dawning. "Chief Hayden, sir," he says, extending a hand. "Didn't recognize you out of uniform. Welcome to the neighborhood." I wish you could have seen B's face, mouth hanging open, pink suit drooping, suddenly looking a couple sizes too big for her. Her eyes darted from me to the officer and back, trying to piece together how the villain of her story had just turned into the boss of the guys she'd called for backup. There was this hush, like the whole street held its breath, and then Mustache gently tells her, "Ma'am, filing a false report is serious. Maybe next time a hello is a better start than a 911 call." You'd think that'd be the end, right? Public humiliation, a new HOA legend in the making, but B wasn't built for humility. Next came the notes on my door, anonymous of course, about my trash bin sitting out 8 minutes late, about the improper color of my front door, navy blue. If you're curious, even an animal control complaint about my vicious dog. I don't own a dog. The neighborhood message board got a post about undesirable elements lowering property values. She never named names, but everyone knew. It became clear real quick this was more than crankiness or even petty racism. She was the president-treasurer and heck grand poobah of the HOA, running it with the kind of zeal you usually reserve for cult leaders and tax auditors. If your grass was an inch too high, you got a letter. If you wanted to plant something she didn't approve of, forget it. Fines piled up, rules changed to suit her mood, and somehow the only real improvements in the neighborhood were happening on her side of the fence. I started talking to folks, old Mr. Henderson across the street, the gnome enthusiast, Mr. Abernathy, the young couple who'd moved out after too many violations. Their stories matched up. B's been bullying this street for years, weaponizing the HOA, using fines for urgent repairs that turned into her fancy Italian patio, running off anyone who stood up to her. With every little bit I learned, the more it felt like I was back on a case. Except this time the crook wore lavender twin sets and passed herself off as the conscience of Primrose Lane. Detective Sanchez from my department dug into the records, a mess of fuzzy HOA finances, nuisance lawsuits, and one old sealed case about slander and financial mismanagement that B settled out of court after spreading rumors about another board member who'd asked a few too many questions. But the real twist, the kind that changes how you see a person forever, came when Sanchez found old newspaper clippings from upstate New York. Turns out B's maiden name was Pringle, daughter of a diner owner notorious for turning away black customers, seating them in the back by the kitchen, giving them cold food, bad service, the whole nine. She wasn't just a passive bystander. Testimony said she enforced those rules, even bragged about keeping the place clean. After the diner shut down in disgrace, she vanished for years, reappeared as Hogglesworth in a whole new state, building a kingdom of HOA rules and a life propped up by a lie. All those years, all that effort to erase the past, and it all came crashing down when I just, by existing, showed up next door. The facade cracked and out came the old venom. Her attacks on me weren't just about her precious HOA or her fear of change. It was about the ghost of who she'd always been surfacing for everyone to see. When a young black and Asian couple moved in a few doors down, she tried to keep them out of the annual block party, hinting that some residents might not understand their family offered to waive their $5 like it was a favor. But they showed up anyway, and so did my detective undercover watching it all. B, threatened by a laughing child running past, snapped in front of everyone, insulted. The couple screamed at their little girl, called us unruly elements, and finally blurted the quiet part out loud, saying our kind wasn't welcome here. That was it. The neighbors who'd always shrugged or quietly rolled their eyes at her started speaking up. The block party turned into a reckoning. Witnesses' statements, even recordings, stacked up. She was ousted from her own HOA, her finances scrutinized, her power stripped away. Her pink blazers disappeared. Her lawn started to wilt. And then one ordinary Tuesday, a for sale sign appeared, and B was gone, leaving only gossip and relief in her wake. And me, I sit on my porch most evenings now, iced tea in hand, wind chimes playing a tune that doesn't make me grit my teeth, and I think about how sometimes the best kind of revenge isn't dramatic at all. It's just living well after a bully's gone, watching your neighbors laugh, seeing garden gnomes sprout up like tiny flags of freedom. Primrose Lane feels lighter, like a storybook town again. And every time I take out my trash, I remember justice sometimes is as simple as the truth coming out for everyone to see. So what do you think? Was I right to go all in, or should I have let sleeping bullies lie? Drop your thoughts below. In a world full of bees, maybe what we really need is more neighbors willing to take out the trash one bag at a time.